Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Small Business Insights. I'm Don Emmett, Managing Director of Entrust Associates, and today we're here with Todd Palmer, who's President and owner of Always Best Care.
That's right, Don. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, good. Todd, thanks for inviting us into your facility, and why don't you tell us a little bit about Always Best Care? Okay.
Sure. Yeah, well, and thanks for the opportunity, Don. I
Sure.
appreciate that. So, Don, Always Best Care is a non-medical licensed home care agency. Our clients are elderly folks, typically 80 years old and up, who are trying to age in place in their current living situation, whatever that might be. Their own home, apartment, condo, or many of our clients actually live in facilities, assisted living or independent facilities, continuing care retirement communities such as Carroll Woods, for example, or the Cedars. And they're trying to not have to make that next step in their transition into more extensive care, we'll say.
Okay.
So our aides are typically certified nursing assistants. We have a few companion cases where we're not providing personal hands-on care, but most are full care clients that need extensive care. So we hire the most qualified aides, CNAs in the market that we can find, and work hard to retain them and keep them working. And we are private pay. We can point or help people get qualified for their long-term care insurance, which we're qualified for because we're licensed by the state of North Carolina,
Okay.
DHHS. We can also help facilitate getting them pointed to the right resources when it comes to veterans benefits, which are numerous and largely unknown by veterans, unfortunately. They've earned these benefits decades ago,
Right.
during wartime, and now they're eligible for them, and their spouses, and their surviving spouses.
Oh, really?
And so we point them to the right resources, and that could be up to $25,000 a year in some cases.
Okay. That's significant.
Yeah, and it also helps offset the cost of care in any setting that they may be.
So, we've known each other for quite a few years, and obviously, and Always Best Care is a franchise.
It is.
And so I'm kind of in the business of people working with operating businesses. So obviously, the decision that you made was to buy a franchise as a complete startup.
Right.
So,
Correct. Yeah. And this franchise is based in Sacramento, California.
okay.
We were on the very front end of the franchising process, so we were one of the first. We were the first, along with a colleague in Raleigh, to get established here in North Carolina. One of the first on the East Coast.
Okay.
And now there's actually more offices on the East Coast than West Coast for Always Best Care. The largest concentration are actually in North and South Carolina.
Wow.
So this area has been very successful in nurturing this business and growing it because it's a good market, of course. Yeah, and with people with resources, right demographics. Now there are about 120 offices nationwide and still growing as the market grows, of course.
So, starting a business, going, obviously starting with zero revenue and going to cover expenses and things like that. Was there a time or an event that let you know that, hey, this is going to work. This is going to succeed. This is going to be able to
Right. Well, it
support
happened.
my lifestyle.
It happened almost immediately because we do have a second service that we provide to the community, and it's actually a free service, and it's called senior living placement.
Okay.
And what that means is that people who are typically in immediate need of an assisted living or independent living environment because they can no longer stay at home, they come to us or they are referred to us, often by skilled nursing facilities and hospitals. It's an immediate need. They can't go back home and they need a place to live. So we help get them dialed into the right community, the right facility, and whichever facility they choose pays us a small referral fee.
Okay.
And we have contracts, equivalent contracts, so that there's no bias built into the system with all the facilities in Triangle, and actually most national at this point. So, to go back to your question, because this is a licensed business, and there was a long wait for us to get licensed back in 2010 when we started, essentially launched the business January 1st, 2010.
Okay.
And by May 1st, 2010, we were profitable with placements. And the business has never been unprofitable since month 5 in business.
Oh, that's impressive.
And now it took some time for it to build and for the business to replace my previous salary,
Okay.
which was substantial because I came out of a kind of a big corporate job at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's there now.
Okay.
And it's really difficult to fail in this market if you just put the right effort in and you know what you're doing and you have the right support and put the right risk mitigation factors in place, such as insurance and hiring practices and contracts with clients.
So I'm thinking that in the beginning, to get those referrals, we used to be in a networking group together, so
Right.
So I'm thinking there had to be a good bit of networking, or you reaching out
Absolutely, yeah.
to the various facilities and letting them know that you were
Right.
here.
Right. So it took, so the first 8 months while we were waiting for the licensure survey and approval,
Okay.
we focused on the assisted living or senior living placement business. And I became a member of the Chamber of Commerce immediately.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big network, but it's tight. I didn't have much competition there. And I guess I took the approach of, I'm going to go where my competitors are not. So I came to the BNI group that we were in, Business Network International. That's exclusive, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
The Chamber, not much competition there. A Rotary Club in town here.
Mm-hmm.
And other businesses and other people who had businesses associated with elder care or the elder market, or anybody who has a business or some kind of presence in front of women in their 50s and 60s. That's my target market.
Okay.
It is not the elderly. It is the daughters and the daughters-in-laws,
Okay. The caregivers.
the caregivers and the decision makers and the powers of attorney who hire us. We never see or meet our client until we're in their home the first day. It's always the daughters coming to us. So, to answer your question exactly, this is a personalized service. People need to trust us before they refer to us or hire us. So it's all about making personal connections in the local market.
So, wow, so great start, great networking, great making connections. So now you need people to administer your care, administer
Right.
your service. So
Right.
the CNAs. So what's your strategy for attracting, retaining good people?
Right, so we have always paid at or above market rate to retain the people.
Okay.
We treat them like family. And we always tell our employees that this is a family-owned business. It's a family business. They're part of the family. Clients are part of the family. Adult children are part of our family. And it takes a village, like children, it takes a village to take care of the elderly.
Yeah.
So, and everybody in coordination closely every day. In terms of hiring, that's retention. In terms of hiring, we use various online services initially, some free, some low cost.
Mm-hmm.
The corporate office has provided some support in that regard as well. But there are two great referral sources for aides or CNAs. And that is friends and family of our current and best performing aides.
Okay.
They bring us the majority of new employees. And ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is extremely powerful, at least right now. They have brought us dozens and dozens of employees over the years. So, and that's not an exaggeration. We have actually employed over 500 people at this point in 7 years. Because, well, for one thing, it's a fairly high turnover business. And it's not because of the employees, it's because of the clients. The clients are continually turning over because they're moving on
The next level of care.
Right, exactly. And unfortunately, of course, some run out of insurance or run out of resources and need to move in a family or make other arrangements. So hiring is a major part of our operation. Yeah. It's all about client intake, employee intake, matching them and delivering the best service that we can.
In terms of advice, I know you spent most of your career in the corporate world. What would you say was the best piece of business advice that you've ever received, and what you'd like to share
Sure.
with our audience?
Sure. I would say that I came out of a very kind of specialized role in my corporate job. I was director of quality at an automotive supplier here for North and South American operations. And I thought I knew business, right? And I did. I even had an MBA from UNC.
Okay.
Kind of majored in or specialized in corporate finance, which was my interest at that time. Kind of to broaden myself. But I would say that learning how to be an entrepreneur before you get into business would be very helpful. I learned the hard way, and very quickly.
Okay.
Learning how to manage cash flow, learning how to hire, learning how to follow the HR regs. But in the end, it's all really people. It's a people business. This business is, and most businesses are. Right, when you're a small business, it's about people.
Relationships,
exactly.
Building
and maintaining. And keeping that trust and continuing to generate interest for referrals for your own business. So it's about people and it's about cash flow and mitigating risk. Those were the three things that I had the people skills for sure when I came into. But managing the cash flow and mitigating risk, those were two significant aspects that I had to pick up quickly on the ground.
So for a fledgling entrepreneur or business owner that's maybe considering buying a business or buying a franchise, how would you help them get that information or get that knowledge?
I would say, if you could, find a friendly competitor who's in the same business, and that's how I learned. I had a not really a competitor because he was based in Cary. He was in the Chapel Hill market, but he had decades of experience in home care, and he taught me. I learned a little bit from the state of North Carolina because I went through a licensure class. So they taught me how to do things right, for the client and the employees and myself. But my friend in Cary was fantastic in terms of, I shadowed him for 4 months. He taught me everything. And that was it. It got me off the ground and really helped.
So essentially, find a mentor.
That's it.
Would that be a good?
Yeah, either in the industry or in the same kind of business or something, or
that's great advice.
Ask them. Maybe they've had a business in the past. Yeah, a mentor.
So as we begin to wrap up a bit, what's in the future for Always Best Care in terms of a growth strategy, other locations, or potentially an exit strategy?
Right. Well, all the above.
Okay.
Yeah. So in terms of immediate growth, the market continues to grow because, first of all, locally here is a great market, and people continue to move in. especially in Wake County, although we don't service Wake County, but there's, plenty of growth here as well in Durham and Orange, Chapel Hill. So we see a significant growth, probably doubling in size of our business in the next year. And then probably doubling in size again over the next 2 to 4 years, because as the baby boomers age, the baby boomers are essentially turning 71 this year. And as they approach 80, that is when they will start to need the care. And that's a market of 80 million people nationally. Significant here, of course.
10,000 a day?
10,000 a day turning 65. Yeah, that means 10,000 a day are turning 71.
Okay.
Right? Every year. So that's what we see in the near and immediate, immediate term and relatively near term. And you always should have some sort of idea how to exit the business when you start a business. And so, really our intention is to grow this business to the point where it has some significant value, because it's my retirement and my business partner's retirement, and our future, my kids' future.